Log recording. It's about 2:12 p.m. Continuation. It's still November 2nd, 2022. So we were John C. Roseman, California. Uh, so, whose fault was it? I didn't hear that one either. I was too busy hitting the stop button. But quite frankly, you probably figured it out. I mean, it must have been the hardest damn thing to probably strain brain cells at this point. I mean, whose fault was it? Whose fault was it that had issues like this? Whose fault was it that told us that all these lies and perpetrating myths? Whose fault was it? Okay, well, let's see. We can do something else on this particular video about that one, can we? The channel I have is still dealing with grieving and mourning because it's a diary of a griever named John Weaver, which would be dealing with my own emotional issues, dealing with my own grieving, dealing with my own loss of family, and since we're dealing with the holiday season every other kind of day, that I still deal with it on a constant basis and get triggered and cry and go insane. However, when the times are coming, or times are actually here, when I am actually of lucid and I actually have facilities that still work, I'm actually trying to communicate something somewhat effectively to people around me, things that I think and feel that are important. Now, granted, in our world right now, in our collective universe, we are having issues left and right trying to understand each other, or willing to understand each other, or not willing to understand each other because we think everyone else has lost their minds. But we think there's things going around because we keep hearing about things going around. We keep understanding that there's horrible, hideous things out there. And it's everything, and it's the fault of, or responsibility, or accountability, or transparency is someone else. But if the fault happened with us, it's still the other guy's problem. Now, I tried to do something on there of a dastardly, wicked thing. I tried to do something, and I tried to tell the people that, and tried to make it clear and concise where the pointing was going to. But if you realize there's supposed to be accountability, transparency in this situation here, accountability, responsibility. Yes, sir. There we go. So all these three right here. But this is the accusing finger, and this is the witness. But you on the camera, you beyond the camera, you who are watching the camera, are supposed to be responsible for the disastrous, dastardly thing I have leveled an accusation at. Realizing that it's only just one finger doing it all. One finger. And because the one finger is doing all the pointing at away, where are the other fingers pointing at? Ah, introduction of an outsider. So what's this tell you? Or was the clues not subtle enough? And basically, you had accountability, transparency, and responsibility. Where were they being pointed at? The dastardly deed had been pointed right here, had been activated, it had been shown on the screen. My God, it's simple. It's so damn simple, it scares the hell out of people, left and right. But the problem is, it's not all that simple because people don't want to understand it, and it freaks them out too much. Because, my God, if they actually understood that damn thing, what's going to happen to us? Now, if I had done something worse, or said something worse, if I actually leveled an accusation, a transparent rumor, or something like that to start it off, pick out a name out of a hat? Nope, not going to do that. Why? Because I'm not going to do that. Why not? Because if I happen to do that, I'm going to have to be declaring responsibility because of my own damn head. Otherwise, if I'm going to be picking on somebody else, I'm going to be just like everybody else. My God. I'll pick out a name out of my own head over here, and it'll probably be the right name. Other people will say, yeah, he's got the right name, he's got the right name. Now let's go after that person and harangue him. And yet, it's not the right person. But why not? What was the deed? What was the deed? What was going on? Notice your reactions. Still confused? Probably. But that's what we're dealing right now in this world of ours right now. I have been saying a lot of times on my videos throughout the past nearly 3 years of how we are not taking care of ourselves. We're not taking care of our own responsibilities, our own transparencies, our own accountability. We're blaming everybody else for everything else going on around them. I'm trying to think something that can be destroyed on camera and yet not cause problems around here. I'm looking for a victim. I'm looking for something to harm. I'm looking for something to start a chain reaction. I'm looking for a rumor. I'm looking for something that may cause a hell of a lot of grief and grime about things happening and how the thing gets spread out of control. Let's see. I guess this is the situation where we're dealing with that. If we want to enjoy the chaos and the fun and the insanity of it all, and blame others for our own actions, this is the thing I'm trying to find. Because there's a lot of things around here I may or may not care about, but I'm looking for things to tear apart and just say, wow. Of course, in a place like I'm in right now, I have to be responsible for the damn cleanup. I can't just do something and just leave it there and then not be held accountable, transparent, or responsible for the damn thing because it might have an issue. Or it might have a detrimental effect. I mean, if I actually picked up on something that was going to be detrimental and having a lousy effect here. Something of probably of major significance or minor significance, it doesn't matter. Because as far as I'm concerned, that has to be done. Okay. Let's start the rumor. Let's start the rumor. Rumor started. Let's call this the hypothetical case of the rumor. Kind of weird, kind of stupid, kind of dumb. You know, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit because somebody else came in here and dumped this damn thing over here. And walked away. You saw it on camera. You actually saw it on camera. They came over here, picked it up, put it over here. But it wasn't me. It was somebody else. It was one of my neighbors. It's somebody else that came in here through a locked door. Came over here and dumped it over here. You know what it was? It was somebody important who did it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It never was me. How could you say it was me? I wasn't putting this damn thing on here. I blame. I blame my neighbors for this. They came and they did this to me. All of them. They came over here and laughed in my face on camera. They did this. The entire town of Roseman did it. Every one of those stinking people, so-called neighbors, so-called residents, came over here and threw this on my damn table. You saw it on camera. You saw it on camera. Plain as day. It's their fault. It's always their fault. I have to deal with this on a single day basis. I've been dealing with things for years. It wasn't my fault. It was not my fault. It's never my fault. It's my neighbor's fault. It's this whole damn town's fault. And then they had to get the county, Kern County on the stone. All right? It's Kern's fault. Everybody in Kern County. It's their fault. Throwing this damn thing on my damn clean table over here, which is roach infested. It's not my fault. It's Kern County's fault. It's Representative McCarthy's fault. It's Tom Lackey's fault. Now let's get personal and let's get political at this point, shall we? It's their fault for doing this shit. Allowing the county and the state of California to go against me. On camera, right here, right now. And you saw it. Came over here, tossed this damn thing. Dumped the bugs in here. And I have to continue to deal with the bugs. It's their fault. It's always their fault. It's always their fault. They just gave me this piece of trash here. It's the senator's fault. It's the U.S. Senator's fault of California. It's the Speaker Pelosi's fault. Speaker of the House. It's her fault. She allowed this through others to have this piece of trash thrown on my table. This roach-infested table. It's the U.S. House of Congress. Both Senate and House of Representatives. It's their fault. It's also Fox News' fault. And CNN's fault. And the Young Turks' fault. And everybody who's in the media. Because they all saw this damn video feed. And they still blamed it on me when it was all their fault and their conspiracy for throwing this damn thing on my table. Roach infested as it is. Okay, right through my door. You saw it on camera. Right here, right now, today. But it's today's time. Today's time is, well, does it matter if it's a time on here or not? You saw it. You hear them? They're conspiring against me. It's everybody's fault out there. Coming over here and putting a piece of trash on my damn table. I saw them on table. I got them on tape. Today, right now. I got them on tape right now. We didn't have these officials elected And then it had to be written in the damn Constitution of the California and worse off in the U.S. Constitution of the United States for throwing a piece of trash on my table, which is roach infested. And then it's the media's fault for covering it one way. And then, oh my God, Elon Musk had to get his Twitter shit going on. And I saw the Twitter shit and I posted it on here. You saw it. You read it. You heard it. This poor dumb schmuck here. This large fat ass. His large fat ass. He deserves to have a piece of trash on his table. And he tweeted it out. He tweeted it out. So, he's the same asshole to save the U.S. space program, but he's the one going to be spreading out all the nice, juicy propaganda saying it's my fault when I got him on tape. I got him on tape doing this shit. Q sent me on this one. Q talked to me about this one. See, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I'm innocent. What? Okay, I want to see it. Okay. Ah, I just see the culprit. It's his fault. Why? Because I blame him for it anyway. I'm just letting him go. Okay, so anybody want to tell me what happened? Anybody tell me what just happened in that particular clip there? I mean, was there something special that happened? Was there something newsworthy? Was there anybody blamed for a particular action that was already taken in front of your eyes? I mean, how hard was it being of doing something that caused maybe a bit of misery or a bit of action? But I'm not supposed to say or do anything about that, right? I mean, nothing happened, right? It's just nothing, right? This is what we're facing every single day. This is what we're facing every single day. We have people trying to do the flim-flam on us all the damn time. We're listening to the media critics left and right trying to tell us who's actually doing the flim-flamming and for why. And if we actually listen to it, do we got the right story or not? But if we actually seen this thing in front of our face, and yet we hear it happening to anybody else, and everybody else is responsible for a single thing that happened. So my question again, what had happened? What had happened was something picked up from the ground, put onto here, and then people blamed for it, but not me. Despite the fact that there is a mechanism involved. See, there's a mechanism involved with an action taken of a biological entity. And this is kind of attached to a biological entity. But we miss that, don't we? We're missing that on a constant basis. This damn thing is still going into the trash. Been picked off the floor, used as an example. And yet people are going to be complaining about this because it's the politicians, it's everybody else's fault for barging into my home, which has a locked door, by the way. Storming over here, picking up a piece of trash, putting on here, and then blaming me for it. Did you see anybody actually doing that? You didn't. Well, then how did it get over here in the first place? Oh, I did it. Oh, well, okay. Well, let's see. This is a court of media here, a court of public opinion. How are we going to spin this one here? If I actually tell the truth, I have to come out with a damn thing. But if I continue to spin it, and continue to spin it, and continue to spin it, and retell 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 it, eventually they'll believe it. Shut up, guilty conscience. I have to accept blame. I have to accept responsibility, transparency, and accountability. What kind of person do you think I am? All right. I'm the evil, dastardly one that did the disastrous thing. I picked up a piece of trash and tried to blame the whole world for the damn thing. Tried to tell you it was your fault because you came in through the screen and you had to do this thing to me. Just because you wanted to get me to shut up. Alright, fine. Blame it on me for that. You might think it's ridiculous. You might think this whole damn thing's ridiculous. But as I'm watching it happen in this real life, in real time right now, as I'm hearing it from other sources left and right, what people are trying to do for each other or do to each other, and all the material I've been reading online, it's just overwhelming. So there's going to be apologies and amends, hopefully to me banked. Nancy Pelosi, House of Congress. I also have to do it for McCarthy and Lackey. Fox News, I got to make an apology to, and also CNN and everybody else, including the Young Turks. I got to make an apology to everybody that I slandered because of the trash situation. When it was all on me. Taking responsibility, accountability, and transparency. Because I'm the one on camera who did the deed. But blamed people and blamed you for it. And I have to accept responsibility on that one there too, because I blamed you for it. I have to be held accountable to it because I'm the one that did the job. I did a dastardly deed. I picked up the piece of trash on the floor and I tried to blame everybody else for the damn thing. I have to blame it on my neighbors. No, I have to apologize to my neighbors at this point. So apologize to the neighbors and to the town of Roseman for this shit. And state of California, United States, and everybody else I blamed. For picking up a piece of trash off my floor in my kitchen. Or in my living room anyway. And try to blame people for putting it on my table. But when it comes down for the bug war concerning about the cockroaches, those I'll blame, and I am not apologizing. And I'll just keep walking them on the floor and just sidestep them like crazy. But this is, you think it's a laughing matter, you think it's humorous for me to do something as silly and stupid like this, but come on, think it. Think the logic through on this one. Think what you have seen, and you still probably judging it as the most ridiculous thing that you've ever seen. Is it the most ridiculous thing that you've ever seen? You're doing it right now when you're doing the same thing to anybody else and everybody else at the same time. Especially the ones we keep calling the right-winger Trumpsters and God knows what else they call themselves these days. revolutionists, conservatives, preserves. The thing is, all we all are held accountable and transparent and responsible for our actions. We got the whole universe watching us right now. Of course, you'll look in the sky and say, I don't see the universe. Well, it's not the universe that you're looking at. It's the ones you can't see that are judging us, monitoring us. I'm not saying aliens. Well, what we considered alien, we look at the terrestrial situation over here. But if we're going to be looking for extraterrestrial, forget it. They're not even interested in us at this point. Our own game, group conscious, our own group understanding and awareness of forces and things beyond us, shall we say. The powers that be. Powers who we think we are in tune with, that we are celebrating and worshiping like crazy, and yet we blame everybody else by doing the sword act on everybody. That's one thing I can never understand about our holy texts. The ones that we reverse so much in our lives. I could not understand this damn thing in the first place. Why would something as powerful as an entity like that, who would be creating life left and right, have a thing about his own creations trying to kill each other? I never could understand that damn shit. Always had this thing about killing each other. And then we have to keep praying to the entity to keep killing the other person because it's the only way we get quote unquote satisfaction. I can never understand that. Does now the entity who actually created us admit to this kind of situations of being accountable, of being transparent, and being responsible for our own situations at this point over here? Would we not argue in this situation here that the creator of everything and anything that we have right now, as it is, looks upon us with different eyes? And yes, I did adjust the camera right there. And wonders whether or not if we can actually be the same way towards ourselves, as I'm asking the creator that question to him. Would he not hold himself accountable, transparent, or responsible for the things that have happened? And you know what would scare me at this point? Is somehow when it's my time to go, and I'll probably forget the damn conversation that we're having anyway, except on video right now, is when I'm going to be facing him, he's going to be asking me the same damn shit. Or probably just repeating the question and ask the other one, are you serious? You want to remind me of what happened? Yeah, here's the clip that you just did on YouTube here. Now you realize. Okay, so you're asking me the same damn question. Okay, are you? Well, actually, I am. Oh, wow. Surprised human? Uh, well, if you hadn't seen any intelligence in my head, it's probably been blasted out in the back already and smattered all over the place. It's pretty disgusting, actually. That kind of situation there. Did you really mean that? Well, it came out like that, I guess. But if you want me to ask the same question in seriousness at this point over here, you are Father Creator, and therefore it goes to reason that you would also take accountability, transparency, and responsibility for your own actions in the first place. And since you hold no other beings above you in accountable, or you're holding yourself accountable to anybody else, or for that matter, just your own good conscience, that's another thing right there. And another point here This doesn't let us off the damn hook. It doesn't. We are still held accountable. We are still held transparent. We are still held responsible. It doesn't let us off the damn hook. If the Father Creator out there would actually admit to you thing to their creation and saying it, yes, I am responsible for everything at this point over here. And you could probably blame me for everything else over here. But here's the thing, I'm also holding you accountable too because of the same standards I have for myself. And that's what I'm looking for in my creations right now is that spark, that understanding. Are you aware? There are certain things that you actually do take for granted and be blasé about it and not realize those things hurt and harm and cause devastation. Are you not realizing this that you're doing? Think about that one. Heavy, isn't it? But since when are we going to be responsible for our own damn actions when we're too damn busy blaming the other schmuck for it? We have to be held accountable. We have to be held transparent. We have to be held responsible for the damn thing. Because if we're not, this is what scares me concerning about the political season we've got right now as it is. Because we're sure as hell demonstrating that we're not. But if it is going to be a miracle by God for us to understand what the hell's going on and just maybe do something about it. Maybe there's a chance of saving humanity in itself. Or are we that blind, dumb, and stupid about it? Scary, isn't it? It's terrifying for this kid not to admit the guilt of the actions we take and the decisions we make. There's blaming the other guy and thinking it's their fault, and it turns around and bites us in the ass because we weren't putting ourselves ahead of the line on this one, were we? We must ridicule, we must make fun of the other person because that's the most fun, right? I hate to say it, but karma's got a way of biting us in the ass one way or another and making us learn it the hard way. It seems we've got no choice but to learn it the hard way. Equal and opposite reaction. And it's going to bite us hard. Each and every one of us. Including me. I'm not looking forward to the bite marks on my ass. However, if by borrowing a bit of a Greek mythology here, if I happen to come across Sirius, the three-headed dog, I'm going to have to pay attention where the other two heads are coming from if they're going to be biting me in both cheeks, because the first one's going to be biting my head off. And the only thing I'd call Sirius is, hello, Karma, goodbye, Karma. Shh. My lot.